What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Saturday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Conium. It is NBA All-Star Saturday nights. We've got an NBA All-Star themed edition of The Squeeze for you today. Last night we did well once again. We went 2-1 in our bets, and we've crossed the 20-unit threshold for 2023. So you want to take a moment, if you don't mind, if you want to hit that subscribe button down in that corner there, maybe tell one friend if you already subscribed, share a video. It goes a long way. It helps out. It's really appreciated. And again, we're up 20 units on 2023 so far. Last night, like I said, we had a good night. The Ottawa Senators ended up losing to the Chicago Blackhawks in overtime. I don't know how Ottawa loses that game at home. Blackhawks are one of the worst teams in the league. But on the flip side, we did hit the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. They went under, and it was a 2-1 final. It's always nice when a game goes into overtime and you know you've already hit your total and you don't care what happens. And then the Rangers and the Oilers, they flew over. There were 5 goals in the first period, and that ended up being a 9-goal final, also in a shootout. So all 3 of our games went to shootout or to overtime, but a 2-1 day and up 1 unit on the day overall. And today, as mentioned, we've got an NBA All-Star themed edition. The festivities kicked off last night. The Rising Stars games, not a fan of this format with the 4 teams, and it's really not that fun to watch. The celebrity game was actually quite a bit of fun. The Miz, shout out to The Miz, who hit a half-court buzzer beater at the end. It didn't end up counting. It would have tied the game, but that was a lot of fun. More stars than you would usually see. DK Metcalf had some dunks. Calvin Johnson looked really good. It's always my favorite weekend in terms of all-star festivities. The NBA really does it well, the pageantry and everything else, and it was a really fun time. And now tonight, we get into the big Saturday night. You've got the dunk contest, you've got the 3-point shootout, you've got the skills challenge. My beef with the skills challenge is when guys play a little too cool for school, and they'd rather look good and lose than look bad and win. Shout out to White Men Can't Jump, which is being remade, which I don't quite understand. It's not a movie I think needs to be remade, but I digress. I think the 3-point contest should now be the main event over the dunk contest. That's where your stars come out. That's where you get a lot of the big names. And it's become more fun than the dunk contest, frankly. But this is going to be more of a fun day of bets. These are all sort of long shot bets. There's not a lot of analysis here. It's a 3-point contest. It's a dunk contest. Just want to lighten it up, have a little bit of fun, sort of break up. We're going to have a lot of hockey bets coming up, so I want to break that up a little bit. So these are just fun bets. These are my making these bets. I've already made these bets. These are my predictions and my analysis. We're not going to count this towards our overall record. It's not the type of video or the podcast where we just throw units on massive parlays and all that sort of thing. So we're just going to have a little bit of fun today, sort of an exhibition. The NBA is, NBA and the MLB are my 2 favorite sports. So I just want to have some fun on NBA All-Star Saturday night. So we're going to start with the 3-point contest. And again, there's not a ton of analysis here. The 3-point contest, though, very fun event. You've got big names like Jason Tatum. You've got Damian Lillard. You've got Buddy Hield. You've got Tyrese Halliburton. You've got Tyler Hero. And you've got my pick, hometown boy Lauri Markkanen, member of the Utah Jazz. He's going to know these rims really well. He shoots on these rims all the time. You might not think that's a factor. I think that's actually a big factor, the amount of times that this guy's practiced on this court. He's practiced on these rims. He knows the arena very, very well. I think that's going to play a factor. He's not the type of guy that gets caught up in the hype. There's not a lot of expectations on him. So I think that's going to play into his favor as well in terms of the pressure. Sometimes you see guys come out, they can't really handle the pressure and they completely collapse. I don't think that's going to be the case. And I also like the money on it. He's the 5th lowest odds, so the 3rd highest odds on the day at plus 650. Buddy Hield comes into this as the favorite at plus 400. He has won the 3-point contest before. But when you look at the percentages, Buddy Hield does lead the league in overall 3-point percentage at 42.3, but Markkanen's right behind him at 41.2, the only other player above 40%. And then when you look at wide open 3-point percentage this season, Buddy Hield does lead again, but Lauri Markkanen is 3rd at 45.3%, just behind Anthony Simmons. So he's a great 3-point shooter. His form, his stroke, his efficiency, I think lends itself to this tournament, this contest as well, and I look for him to get it done at plus 650, so Lauri Markkanen to win the 3-point shootout. Now we move to the slam dunk competition, which is the main event, but sort of is it, isn't it? The stars don't really come out as much as they used to, but you do have Jericho Sims, you've got Trey Murphy III, you've got Matt McClung, who is the favorite, and then you've got a name you might know, which is Kenyon Martin Jr., of course, son of former first-round pick and New Jersey Nets dunking legend Kenyon Martin. I think that's going to play a big factor into why I'm picking Kenyon Martin. First of all, this guy's got insane hops, crazy hops. I know Matt McClung is the favorite. He might be a little bit more creative, but when you look at the past of the slam dunk contest, the pageantry, the showmanship, that's sort of what gets it done lately. And I think you've got some potential for Kenyon Martin Jr. to be out there. I like the idea of having Jason Kidd come out and do his iconic lob off the glass to Kenyon Martin for the two-handed dunk. If they can pull that off in the Nets jersey, I think that'd be wicked. I think that might be the deciding factor. And again, the dude's just got the hops, right? He's more of an in-game dunker than he is creative, but at this point in time, with where the dunk contest is at, I think that could factor in a little bit. You might see a guy jumping over somebody, more in-game stuff, which is what Kenyon Martin Sr. is known for as well. So I think he can rely on that, and I think you're going to see something really special from Kenyon Martin Jr. And there's a lot of pressure on McClung to do something different, something creative. And again, it's one of those events that you miss the first couple dunks, the crowd starts getting on you, you start getting a little bit nervous, and that's when you see guys sort of rescind into the pressure, and that's why a lot of guys don't want to do it. So feel free. This is a complete pick 'em, but that's just, I like the showmanship idea. So I like Kenyon Martin Jr. on the dunk contest for plus 250, and then we have sort of a more of a surefire bet. I think is there will there be over 1.5 50 rated dunks in this contest? I think absolutely. If you look back through the history of the dunk contest, there have been 94 perfect scores of 50 since the first dunk contest in 1984. So you have an average of 2.5 per year. You can look at, so in 2021 and 2022, there weren't any 50s. 2021, I don't really count. That was the bubble year. That was the COVID year. You only had 3 guys in it. You had Obi Toppin, Anthony Simmons, and Cassius Stanley. Simmons did get a 49. Last year, an Obi Toppin won. I think the highest was only a 47. Last year was a dreadful dunk contest. But then you go previous to that, when you go to 2020, the last time it was sort of a big event, you had Aaron Gordon, Dwight Howard was in it again, Derek Jones. You had 6 50s in that contest alone. And then when you go back 2019, you had 4. 2018, you had 3. 2017, you've had 3. So 50s are given out a lot more freely than they used to be. It used to be really hard to get anything over really a 45. And even though the last couple years we haven't seen any, I think this year is going to be the return with, we're going to have a lit, I hate the word lit, we're going to have a lit up crowd. I think we're going to see some awesome dunks tonight. I think the showmanship's going to be back. I think people are really into getting the All-Star game back to where it used to be pre-COVID. And usually we see a whole bunch of 50s. I think we see 4 or 5. You've got Karl Malone out there. We'll see as a judge, which, whatever, we don't get into that. But how is he going to judge that? We'll see. But I think we're going to have some easy judging. So I think that you're good to go for 1.3 units to get over 1.5 50s. So let's have some fun today on this All-Star Saturday night. I've got Lauri Markkanen to win the three-point contest for plus 650 at DraftKings. I've got Kenyon Martin Jr. to win the dunk contest at plus 250 at DraftKings. And also at DraftKings, I have over 1.5 50 rated dunks. Feel free to drop a comment if you're fading or following. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Connium for more picks and props throughout the day. TikTok and Instagram for just the picks portions, and audio versions available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Let's enjoy All-Star Saturday night, and let's talk sports.